Wildfires and how it might affect the economy in that area, and how did the government respond? Did Ripple really partner with Amazon? And the last thing and the biggest piece that we're going to be talking about today is Hedera partnering with the Federal Reserve for payments. Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out all the details. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. And if you guys could, share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started, today's going to be Tuesday, August 15th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1.15 trillion. This is a 1.33% decrease on the day today. Fear and greed index right now, we're at a 49, so we did drop below 50. We're still neutral right now, though. Bitcoin right now currently trading at $29,160, Ethereum $1,823, and XRP right now at 60.25 cents. Getting into our biggest gainers and the losers, SEI is going to be up 14.2%. We got Bone up 3.9%, and we got XDC up 3.7%. Biggest losers on the day today. We got Hbar as our biggest loser, down 16%. We got Comp down 10.5%. And then Loon down 9.9%. The reason why Hbar did drop, though, if we look at our price points, they did partner again with the Federal Reserve. We'll talk about that towards the end of this video, but they did reach a pretty nice price, up to 7.39 cents for the peak. Which is pretty good. And then obviously they're going to drop because of that. But they had a nice run up, slow trend down. Obviously, people are taking their profits. Moving on, though, what we're going to get started with is Maui unfortunately had a wildfire and a lot of devastation came out. There's a lot of damage. There's reports that it's going to cost around $6 billion to build back what was burned down. And right here it comes out and says that Nick comes out and says the U.S. federal budget is $6.3 trillion. Our defense budget is over $800 billion. You're not going to convince me that there's no way that we could have saved these 89 plus people that have died in Maui this week from fires. Reports right now are saying that there's 93 people that unfortunately passed away because of this. There were supposed to be a alarm system, sound system with speakers and stuff like that in the city to warn of natural disasters, and none of those actually went off. Also right here it says locals in Maui are refusing to sell their land from elites. So this is a lot of speculation that's going on. The part of the island that was mainly destroyed by the wildfires was a lot of the locals that didn't want to sell their land and their homes to these big corporations and big investors, because it's their sacred land. So they didn't want to do that. And that's the only area that ended up getting burned down. You got Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Lady Gaga, Bill Gates, Morgan Freeman, Will Smith, Julia Roberts. None of these houses were burned down, yet every other person who is a lower income citizen in these areas unfortunately did have their houses get burned down. There are reports about 2,200 structures ended up getting burned/burned down. But Biden, while he was on vacation, or going to vacation, or just coming back from his vacation, because he's been going to the beach every single weekend, was asked about the rising death toll. And then in this little video, no comment. He's not going to talk about it with the news media. Obviously, he's speculation if he's going to go visit. FEMA came out and the press secretary's White House meeting and said that the president has not offered yet to come out. Press secretary says that we're looking at our options, but he also did promise to go out to East Palestine, Ohio in February when they had that train derailment with the toxic chemical spill. And he is still yet to even go there, but can still, again, vacation every single weekend. And also he's gone on his um, events where he's going to go talking to help his chances to become president again in the next election. But the U.S. sends another 200 million in weapons to Ukraine. This is ridiculous. We have stuff going on right now in Maui, and we're sending $200 million overseas. But don't worry. Our president came out and says, as residents of Hawaii mourn the loss of life and devastating taking place across their beautiful home, we mourn with them. Like I've said, not only our prayers are with those impacted, but every asset will be available to them. Here's the latest. FEMA's temporary sheltering assistance is now available for residents who were displaced from their homes by the wildfires, allowing survivors to shelter in hotels or motels temporarily as they develop a long-term housing plan. We're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance and a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during the unimaginably difficult time. So if we pull up our little calculator, because I know some of you guys don't believe math and need to get to see it. So if we do the 2,200 structures, okay, and we multiply that by the $700 of the one-time payment that our president says our taxpayers are going to pay for. And remember, he did say um, everything that they can, but every asset will be available to them. $700 is all that's available to them. We have $1,540,000 is what we're sending to the residents of Hawaii who had their homes burned down. Yet we just sent again another 200 million, and we have $1.54 million, not B with an M, a million. That's it. That's all these residents are getting. This is where my taxpayer dollars, I'm more comfortable for it being sent to people who actually have things going on, American citizens that have trouble that are going on. I don't want to keep on ranting about it, but I just find it ridiculous that every asset available, $700. That doesn't even go for a week at a hotel, not including groceries. That's just for lodging for a week, and you're probably going to only be there for like 4 days. And if it's in a Hawaiian hotel, it's probably only going to last you 2 or 3 days. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. But put down in the comments what you guys think. Now, coming out of Canada, central bank digital currencies will be programmable, ultimately giving the user control over how it is spent by the recipient. Your freedom to purchase fuel, meat, flights, gun, fertilizer will be limited to a carbon credit score. Banks and other service providers will have the ability to suspend or freeze your account without a court order. But the thing is, they already did this. We already saw this with the Freedom Truckers. Back during the pandemic, we had the federal governments in Canada freezing assets so people could not actually send truck drivers money for gas and food and stuff like that. So, there's good things and there's bad things, but the banks can already freeze your guys' assets if they wanted to. Breaking news, BRICS will discuss the establishment of a common payment system next week. There's a lot of speculation if it's going to go digital or not. What currency that they're going to use. Is it going to be a digital currency, or are they going to mainly go with the Chinese yen? In my opinion, that's where I think that they're going to go, especially just because China is the biggest person on that for economy-wise in BRICS. But next week, look out for news on that. I'll be talking about it more. But this week, we're going to be talking about a lot of earnings reports that are going to be coming out with consumer spending. With consumer spending making up 70% of the U.S. economy, dissenting data for this month is crucial for uncovering hints of an incoming recession, even though all of the true definitions of what a recession already is already taking place right now, but our government keeps changing that definition. A little bit interesting news, especially because the U.S. economy got downgraded. We went from a AAA to a AA plus. Now it says that Fitch says that it may need to downgrade multiple banks, including JP Morgan. And JP Morgan is the biggest bank in the United States. Getting into our Watcher Guru news, the SEC will not approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, former SEC chief says. And there's also been reports that came out later today. It's unconfirmed right now, but I'll just say it because there was a bunch of people talking about it. But the SEC is not going to approve a spot ETF in 2023. They're going to wait till 2024, possibly when the new president takes over. We'll see what happens if that's actually going to be true or not. But as of right now, they're not going to be doing anything. Mark Zuckerberg says Elon Musk is not serious about fighting him and it's time to move on. So little speculation and hype around this huge fight. Probably not going to happen, but possibly might. We'll see what happens here in the near future. But this is all like the celebrity boxing and stuff like that now, celebrities, MMA. Pro-Bitcoin candidate Javier Milei wins primary presidential election in Argentina. Again, everywhere else besides the U.S. is adopting cryptocurrency. Sam Bankman-Fried is being housed at a Brooklyn jail notorious for poor conditions. Obviously, he has a lot going on right now in his life, especially being denied bail for the witness tampering and evidence tampering. Argentina's central bank raises interest rates to 118%. This is ridiculous. I mean, here in the United States, we're roughly about a 7.72 to a 7.75% interest rate. But if you guys wanted to get $100, you guys are going to have to pay $218 back to the bank, because you're going to have to pay the initial $100 plus the $118 in interest that you're going to have to. That's just ridiculous. It's just not feasible for an economy. India completes first crude oil payment to the UAE in ruples, officially ditching the US dollar to bilateral trade. Again, devaluing the US dollar. Coinbase officially launches in Canada, so Coinbase, look out, might see a stock price increase here in the near term. Again, no financial advice on that. Sam Bankman-Fried requests depression medication in jail. Obviously, maybe he's going to try to come out with a mental health disorder, like we see a lot of individuals do when they get charged with some serious crimes. Sam Bankman-Fried indicted on new charges for donating $100 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians. I have a little thing that we're going to talk about on that. And then the U.S. government has sent over $150 billion in taxpayer money since this war began with Russia. The U.S. government is sending a one-time $700 payment per household to Americans whose homes were destroyed in Maui wildfires. So we did talk about this, but we've sent over 150 billion to Russia to build back the houses and buildings and structures and everything in Hawaii and Maui. Again, the estimate is 6 billion, so not even a tenth of the cost that we've sent over overseas. And these are our taxpayer dollars being sent overseas. I would prefer those taxpayer dollars go to rebuild our United States, especially with a huge natural disaster. Europe launches first spot Bitcoin ETF. So this is huge news for Europe. We've seen other countries, especially like Australia, look to Europe right now for clear rules and regulations, and they might adopt those here in the near term. Binance files court order against the US SEC. So they're pushing back against the SEC, like we've seen a lot of other companies do, like Coinbase recently, and then Ripple as well, coming back for 2.5 years with their legal battle. Today is the 52nd anniversary of President Nixon's suspension of the US dollar to gold ratio. So if you guys want to, you guys can watch this little speech. Morocco officially submits application to join BRICS. More countries are joining BRICS because of the payments and growing of their economy, and kind of ditching what the U.S. has been doing. And obviously, the U.S. has a huge dominance right now globally in the financial markets. Now, this was really interesting. The White House press secretary accidentally tweets and deletes a post meant for the President Biden's account. So, on her press secretary account, it says, investing in America means investing in all of America. When I ran for president, I made a promise that I would leave no part of this country behind. Obviously, she's not president, so she was trying to write this for the president of the United States, because we also know that he has a PR team and he does absolutely nothing on his account, even though everyone says he does. So if you guys want to, you guys can read the documents. This is the documents suspecting Sam Bankman-Fried of donating over $100 million to campaigns to Democrats and also Republicans, but again, mainly to Democrats. But it's really interesting because in this document, it states that Sam Bankman-Fried pulled the money and then ended up giving it to a family member, and then that family member ended up giving it to him. So that's how they kind of swindled their stuff around. So it was sent to an FTX account in a family member's name, and then sent to himself, and then to contribute those to campaign finance charges. And then again, the U.S. courts did drop those charges. We might see them re-add those charges, especially with these new findings. Chairman of the Financial Service Committee, Patrick McHenry, led Republicans on the Financial Services Committee in a letter to FINRA and the SEC regarding the shady approval of Prometheum as the only special purpose broker dealer for digital assets. And again, they don't actually sell any digital assets on their exchange as a special purpose brokerage dealer, because they say that there's still not clear rules. Yet they got licensed by the SEC, and they're the only entity to be able to get licensed. And it's kind of ridiculous because we have a bunch of exchanges right now like Coinbase, Binance, US, and Uphold, for example, are all operating here in the United States, and have probably applied for this, and they have not actually gotten clarity yet on those. Zach Rector comes out and says they are covering up the collapse and rolling out the solution. UBS, okay, we talked about this bank that collapsed, will pay 1.4 billion in penalties over fraud and misconduct in its offerings of mortgage-backed securities dating back to the global financial crisis. It's raining down today, and a little reminder: investigations in the files that Credit Suisse's collapse will be closed for 5 decades. So for 50 years, we won't know why Credit Suisse broke down and collapsed, because they sealed those documents. So obviously, there's a lot of corruption and collusion going on right now. And if you can't see this for 50 years, no one's going to remember this huge collapse in the next 50 years. India just made its first crude oil payment. We just talked about this. I forgot that it was on Watcher Guru. Coca-Cola launches its first NFT collection on Coinbase's base and Ethereum layer 2 chain. So it's nice to see a big brand getting into NFTs. Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of NFTs, but they do play well in cryptocurrency. And as more things get adopted on specific networks, this will obviously in turn create a bigger price for that specific digital asset. Again, no one really likes Ethereum. Again, no financial advice, but the gas fees are really high. Moving on, though, there's a lot of reports and stuff going on right now with Ripple partnering with this, Ripple partnering with this. A lot of this is old news. So again, it's nice to bring this up because we see a lot of new individuals coming into the space every single day. So they might not know a lot of this stuff, but Bullzilla says that American Express just confirmed its use of Ripple. Vice President of American Express, Colin O'Flaherty, speaking at an event in Amsterdam, confirmed the financial services warnings. But this was actually back in, I think, 2019, that this was happening. Yeah, so like it says, like linking an article from 2019 saying American Express. So make sure you guys do a little bit of investigation because they've already been partnered with American Express. They've also partnered with Bank of America. And there's a lot more reports. And then again, this one right here, this is like going around Twitter for the last 4 days. Boom, Ripple and Amazon. Amazon CFO Warren Jensen has joined Ripple's board of directors. Amazon could be releasing the first crypto product this year. Ripple and XRP are now featured on Amazon's official website as an AWS partner. So this is true. They are considered an AWS partner. But if we go to Amazon's AWS partners list and we click become an AWS partner, all we have to do is to become a member. Tell us about your business interests, registering using your business email address. Tell us about the company. So obviously you have to input a little bit of information. Obviously, this is also good headlines. But it says right here, help us understand your company, provide information about your company and the nature of your company's business. And then 3, accept the terms and conditions. So it looks like any company can actually become an AWS partner on their network. So do a little bit of research before like you guys get into these huge hype things, because a lot of people invest a lot of money, and this is why we say no financial advice, and please do your guys' own research, because this has been spreading around like wildfire on Twitter. I'm not picking on this guy right here, but there's a bunch of others that you guys can look at. But anyone can become a partner on Amazon. So are they going to specifically use Ripple? No, probably not specifically. Could they? Yeah, it is a possibility. But for those of you guys that are new into the space, here's a huge partner list right now of everyone that Ripple has been partnered with. Some of these have been taken off. They're no longer partners with Ripple. Some of them are still continue to be partners. But this is just a good rough idea. Some of these people you guys might know: Bank of America, American Express, CBW Bank. Revolt is another one that I know. AstroPay, Arlington Capital. But again, there's more and more that come out every single day who Ripple has been partnering with. But if you guys are new, do your guys' own research. I obviously love Ripple and the XRP token. But Ripple has a huge all-star team, just a few of the big hitters. So we got Rosie Rios right here. She's the former treasury, especially during COVID. She was actually the treasurer of the United States. So a lot of the $100 bills have her signature. So she sits on the board of director at Ripple. Most powerful women in banking, number 6, JP Morgan Chase's Sandy O'Connor talks about Ripple quite a bit. Ex-Ripple advisor Michael Hbar joins the Fed. So obviously, there might be a little bit of favoritism right here between Michael Hbar and Ripple. And since he's working for the federal government, he has a good idea of what Ripple can do. President of BlackRock Digital Assets is a former Ripple executive. So somebody that sits on the president of BlackRock right now is now a former Ripple executive. Again, more business partners, and former CEO of Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation joins Ripple Labs as an advisor. So they obviously have a huge name. But the biggest one is going to be Rosie Rios. And a lot of people are speculating, like, oh, Ripple's a scam, XRP token, they have so much. You don't think that somebody who was a treasurer of the United States would join a company that's considered corrupt? She wouldn't tarnish her name like that. Obviously, she knows what finance is. She was the head of finance essentially here in the United States. So, in my opinion, this is probably the biggest name sitting on Ripple right now. Obviously, you have Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, and David Schwartz are the three other biggest. But Rosie Rios sitting on their board of directors is probably going to be the most well known, because, again, she's not going to tarnish her name and her reputation by joining a corrupt or a bad business. But moving on, though, the biggest news that we're having right now is that Hbar, the Hedera network, has joined with and partnered with the Federal Reserve for micropayments. So FedNow has added another company to its services provider showcase, Hbar. Micropayments company DropCC. Drop enables micropayments in Hbar, USD, and USDC. This means banks in the US looking for micropayment services now use Hedera technology. Drop will enable real-time payments through FedNow, process customers' credit transfers, and handle incoming payments. Not all service providers can do both, which means HBAR Tech has higher standings in this case. So DropCC is going to be right here on their showcase on the FedNow website. And then if you guys want to, you guys can watch this little video. It's 8 minutes and 59 seconds long. But this is the HBAR Foundation talking about what DropCC is and their partnership with the Federal Reserve for micropayments. So thank you guys for tuning in all the way to the end of this video. I appreciate all of you guys. And if you guys can invest with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.